Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you guys an update to my Performapal deck profile for May 2017. With the new support from Maximum Crisis, I told you guys in a previous video I wanted to bring you an update to this deck that made use of the new fusion monsters and a couple of the other new Performapal pendulum monsters. Also looking to show you guys a version used by Yuya's dad, Yugioh Sakaki, and his non-pendulum monsters. So definitely look forward to that as well later down the road. But without further ado, let's give an update to my Performapals. To start off, one of your main monsters in the deck is one of the only non-Performapals, which is Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Very standard here, the double damage and then the search plays for the pendulums. He's also your main key beater and used for a lot of the fusions that you go for in the deck, so definitely keeping 3 of him, and it's always usable when you open him up, if not just for the search, just to summon him out and have a big monster on the field. Down to 2 Daggerman now. He was used for the Brave Eyes Pendulum Dragon play, and he still is very easy to Pendulum Summon him out and then use him for that fusion. And if it was Pendulum Summon this turn, you can send 1 Performapal from your hand to the graveyard to draw a card. You can only use the effect once per turn, but good for consistency as well. And a scale 2 helps to balance out just the different amount of scales that I want to run in the deck. And during your main phase, if this card was activated this turn, you can target 1 Performapal monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Once again, just shuffling through those consistency plays that you can do with Daggerman really helps the deck. And basic staple for Performapal decks, we run 3 Pendulum Sorcerer with its destruction of pendulum scales and then search power. Too good not to run at 3 in the deck. And the double attack, not double, the 1000 boost as used as a pendulum scale also is really good for the deck, just for weak Performapals that you really want to deal some damage with. And I run 3 Performapal Second Donkey. Once again, can't go wrong with this card. When it's normal or special, if you have 2 cards in your pendulum scales, you search your deck for Performapal and add it to your hand. Otherwise, you send it to the graveyard. Just like I said, search, very easy to build scales and then pendulum summon in this deck as well. If not, you can always also just normal this, send it to the graveyard, and get the search off with Daggerman to add back. I'm also running 2 of the new Performapal Coin Dragon. I like this to be used with Odd Eyes. Other dragon monsters you control gain 500 attack. Also, they cannot be destroyed by card effects. So this card protects your Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. And the scale effect is once per turn you can target 1 dragon monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck this turn. If that monster you control battles an opponent's monster, banish the opponent's monster after damage calc. So good to get over other pesky monsters as well that your opponent is making use of. And 2 Performapal Yugioh Golem, a scale 1 monster, and once per turn if a monster is fusion summoned to your field except during the damage step, you can add 1 Performapal Odd Eyes or Magician Pendulum monster from your graveyard or face up in your extra deck to your hand. I like also that this card is a level 4. I always thought for the longest time, I didn't look at the level, that he was a level 1, so it made it kind of bad in my opinion, but the fact that you can also, abuse this card just if it's destroyed by, let's say, a Pendulum Sorcerer, then go for Pendulum plays there, or its monster effect where once per turn during your main phase, if this card is Pendulum Summon this turn, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using this card you control and dragon type monsters you control as the fusion material. So another good resource to go through from there. And 1 Performapal Odd Eyes Phoenix, just for the search for the Sky Iris. Also has a good attack boost tribute effect as well with this card. Like I said, I like running 1 of the tech just because it is searchable. Pretty much standard Skullcrobat Joker as well, just for the search. And the high pendulum scale also comes in handy as well. Same with Parrot Trio. Parrot Trio can be used to search out a second donkey with its monster destruction play, or you can bump this card up to scale 7 when it's in your pendulum scale, so you can adjust your scales how need be. And 2 Performapal Lizard Draw pretty much still remains standard in the deck. Other than that, the monster destruction effect always makes your opponent go for this first, so you can also protect your other monsters because they won't want you to get off those draws either. And lastly, for the Sky Iris searches, we have the 2 Odd Eyes Unicorn. Your scale 8 that you mainly want to go into because it's the main focus of how you will special summon Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon to the deck. And the monster effect, not used as often, but when it's normal or special, you can target 1 Performapal monster in your graveyard, gain life points equal to its attack. So just a little additional assist there. And I also run one Performapal Trump Witch. This is just for another easier fusion method to go off of with this card scale set. Or you can use the Tribute effect to add polymerization from your deck to your hand, which I'm giving a shot by running 2 fusion substitutes, which we'll get to in a bit. And then for the spells, I run 3 Performance Hurricanes. Still love this card in the deck just because it adds so much power, because a lot of cards benefit from graveyard play. So being able to bounce cards back to the extra deck or stuff like that really make this card trolly in so many ways. And 2 Bubble Barrier, once again, just as an additional add to protect my Performapal monsters. 1 Dark Hole. This can obviously be Regeki. It's just Regeki is in another deck currently. But other than that, very good just to clear the board, then Pendulum Summon, and you can go for game there if their back row doesn't stop you. And I'm trying 2 fusion substitutes just because this card is one good method to try out to basically get out the fusion monsters I run in the deck. If you want to try normal polymerization, you can try that as well. But other than that, this card's good just because it basically, you fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using fusion monsters you control as fusion materials. You can banish this card from the graveyard to target the fusion, return it to the extra deck, and then draw a card. So it's basically consistency. And you want to do fusion summons with pendulum monsters most of the time while they're on the field, so they'll go back to the extra deck as well. You don't want to use them from the hand as often, because then they'll just go to the graveyard, and most of the time you won't be able to get them back. And then for the finish off the spells, I run 2 Sky Iris. Once again, just a great field spell to run in the deck, just for consistently searching out Odd Eyes cards to use. And 1 Performapal Dramatic Theater. I've actually thought about taking this out for either terraforming, like I originally run, just because this card is a boost card now, where I mostly want to focus on fusion plays with the deck. So if I were to take this out, I'd probably either run 1 more additional Trump Witch, or I would try 1 terraforming. And then for traps, I run 2 Performapal Call, just another additional search with just the restriction of not being able to use the extra deck. Still good early game in my opinion when you want to set up your monsters to use. And same for Pinch Helper, just for that additional monster special summon and then no damage by sending it. And to finish off the traps, the standard 1 Solemn Warning and 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. And that is it for the main deck. We will move on to the extra deck. I run 2 of the new Performapal Gatling Ghoul. Looks very, scary compared to a lot of other Performapal monsters. It needs 1 Performapal monster and 1 level 5 or higher Dark monster, which most of the time will be Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. It can be easily made using Yugioh Golem as well as the Performapal monster, and the effect is if this card is fusion summoned, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card on the field. Then if this card was fusion summoned using a pendulum monster as material, destroy 1 monster your opponent controls, and if you do inflict damage to your opponent equal to the monster's original attack, you can only use this effect once per turn. Having 2900 attack is pretty awesome too. You're going to burn them down as well enough with this card's own effects, then just being able to hit with that big card can sometimes be the finisher you need with this deck. And then I also run basically 1, which I actually lost here, 1 Beast Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Very easy to make this. You just need 1 Beast type monster and 1 Dark Dragon type monster. You don't need to use polymerization with this card either. Just that little tech that I want to run in. I did say I wanted to focus mostly on the fusions in this deck, so Beast Eyes really comes in handy there. 1 Brave Eyes Pendulum Dragon. The main go-to with this is a Pendulum monster, Dragon monster, and 1 Warrior type monster. So Daggerman is most of the time the one you'll go into with this to fuse. And plenty of polymerization searches, like I said, with this card, so very easy to make use of. And then for the Exceed monsters, I run 1 Daigusto Morale just to recycle resources from the graveyard, 1 Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon, 1 Castel, Skyblaster Musketeer, 1 Trapeze Magician with the Pendulum Sorcerers, very good magician monster to make use of, 1 number 101, 1 Abyss Dweller, and for the spell cards face up, 1 Heartland Draco, for Pendulum Exceeds, Magister, 1 Gaga Cowboy. Then for the rank 3s, we run 1 Super Quantal Mech Beast Grand Pulse and 1 Leviair the Sea Dragon. So yeah, once again, that's it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.